We've just beaten Leicester 2-1 with 10 men, pretty much most of the game, Lewis. I mean, a lot of positives to take out of this.
I'll say, at least we showed some resiliency. Like, as soon as we went down to 10 men, I thought this game is going to be so long and frustrating. Then they had the first offside goal as well. But we managed to hold into half-time. And like we always talk about these Tuchel masterclass and everything. We haven't seen it a lot over the last few months, but it happened yet again today, and I think that's a positive we can take out of it. Raheem Sterling's off the mark as well, 2 brilliantly taken goals. I'm not sure if the first one was a deflection or not. I don't really care, to be honest. It's just nice to see a competent attacker for once. But it's a good performance. Like, we managed to maintain possession and a control of the game afterwards. But there's still frustrating sides to take out of it, like the Gallagher red card, for instance. And to be honest, that one was coming.
Did he deserve the first yellow, though? Because I thought it was harsh.
See, the first yellow, I'll be real, I can't remember off the top of my head. But I had a feeling with the last 5-10 minutes before he got the red, the way he kept going into these fouls, he kept going rash. It's like a ticking time bomb just about to blow up. And you knew it was coming after the first yellow. And he didn't manage himself well enough in that regard. And like, I get it, he's still kind of inexperienced in terms of coming into the Chelsea squad and everything. He shouldn't be playing in a double pivot. That's one's kind of on Tuchel, because he's saying he doesn't want any midfielders and he's happy with the midfielders that we have. But he got thrown into lines again and he just couldn't cope. And now I don't really know what we do for the Southampton game, because Kova came on for the last 20 minutes. Don't tell me he's match fit though. He didn't look up to scratch at all. At the very least, he was good for a few darting runs here and there, pressing the Leicester City attack, but you could clearly see he was off the pace. And if we're going to throw him in to the Southampton game, we're throwing him into the Lions as well. That's a little bit of a worrying point for me, but at the least we're able to take the win out of it. I'll be real, even before the red card, I didn't think we played that well. Like, Sterling had the good chance for Ruben, which he should have buried, but typical Chelsea fashion, we don't take our chances. As soon as the red card happened though, completely fell apart for the rest of the first half. Sterling was invisible, he was barely taking players on. Havertz didn't look good enough. He hasn't looked good enough the entire game. Everyone's going to talk about his shithousery and everything. All I saw was him either losing possession or spending half of his game on the ground just trying to draw fouls, and the referee wasn't falling for it half the time. But that's literally all he spent the game doing.
So you don't think he made any good runs? You don't think he contributed in any way?
I won't say not contributed in any way.
Let's say positively.
There was some good moments. He didn't have an absolute disaster class. No one's going to sit here and tell me that he played well, though. He was poor, absolutely poor. Same as the last couple of games of this season. The last games towards the end of last season, I didn't see any improvement. All it was let me back into a player, drop into the ground, hope the referee calls for a foul. Oh shit, the referee didn't. Let me get up and run around and do nothing for another 80 minutes. I need to see more impact on the ball, and I didn't see any of it from him. Mount, absolutely invisible the first half. I barely even noticed he was on the pitch. And as soon as Tuchel brought him off, we scored. I've said the creativity problem isn't there. We take off the one player who I've said is kind of the issue for our open play creativity, because he's not linking up the midfield to the attack. And suddenly we're banging goals, and suddenly we're playing a bit better, even down to 10 men. I like Mount. I think he's a great number 8, but as a 10, he lacks the creativity in open spaces. And we saw it yet again today. But to be honest, I barely even noticed him. Midfield, I like Jorginho as well, but he was getting bypassed for fun.
I think when you're down to 10 men as well, I was saying it earlier, you need legs.
No, I hear that, but for the second half, we kind of solidified our midfield because we brought Ruben Loftus-Cheek into the middle, put Aspie at the back, and we put Reece James back at right wing back. So I feel like he wasn't really left by himself like he was for the remainder of the first half after the red card. Still getting bypassed every now and then though. Maybe it's because he didn't have Mount as the support. I get Mount can at least offer you that in terms of pressing and defensive work rate, but my problem with him and Havertz is the same thing. On the ball, I am not seeing enough, and I need to see more from them. Sterling has come in, and in 3 games he has shown levels. Even if there's been games where it's been a bit more frustrating from him, compared to the performances I've seen from Mount and Havertz, they have not been good enough, and I need to see more from them.
So you think, apart from, let's just take the goals away from Sterling, you think he played better than Mount and Havertz?
Yes, even if the first half he was invisible for long periods, because at the very least I saw intent from him, I saw a big chance created from him in the first half, and I saw 2 goals. What did Havertz do on the ball that was his highlight for you?
I have to admit, I was sitting behind the gantry. We were actually really close to Tuchel, which was quite cool, but I get what people say. The goals, he's a striker. You need to score, but you look at Firmino at Liverpool. That's a perfect example of a player who can make things happen.
Right, but Firmino consistently is able to link up play, and that's the thing. I understand stylistically you can compare Havertz to Firmino, and I understand that. Firmino though helps with link up play. Havertz, other than a few nice little 1-2s here and there wasn't anything impactful. I didn't see anything that had a key point in the game at all. It was just the ball was either bouncing off him, it's a simple 1-2 to somebody else, or nothing. Just nothing. And it's been a whole load of nothing for the last 6 months, if we're being honest.
I think it is a little bit harsh. Obviously, it's your opinion.
3 good Havertz games from this year.
Don't put me on a spot like that, Lewis.
Thank you.
All right, but let's talk Mendy. I didn't see too many short passes from him. Probably the best decision, obviously, after what happened to Leeds. What did you think of his performance?
Good, but still could have done better for the Leicester goal. He got beaten at the near post again, and I don't want to pinpoint every single mistake with him, but it's becoming very regular with him. And like I said, I kind of wanted him dropped for this game because I thought at least Kepa would give us some sort of comfort from playing out the back. Other than that, didn't really see too much. I'm not going to say he played badly. I think he did really well with the 1v1s with Vardy, especially in the second half. But when you're a goalkeeper, the room for error is at a bare minimum. And the problem is he's not reaching that level right now. And it's harsh when you're a goalkeeper because any mistake that you make will directly lead to a goal. That's why the room for error at the back and that goal is at a bare minimum. But he just needs to improve and he needs to become a bit more comfortable in himself.
Made some good saves though.
Yeah, again, the 1v1s with Vardy I think he did well with. It's just there's always that one moment where there never used to be. He used to be a lot more consistent over a full 90. He needs to get that out of his system, and I don't really know how at this point because it's been happening so regularly, but we have to see because it's either him or Kepa, and I don't really know who to trust in that regard.
And just to finish it off, he tried something different today too, Shaw. Played with 4 at the beginning. It's something that fans have been asking for. Obviously, we've seen what the performance gave us. Obviously, a red card earlier on doesn't make it easy to judge, but is that something you can see us doing more often? Should we stick with the 3 and the 2 wing-backs? What's your thoughts on that?
Maybe with Aubameyang. Like I said, one of my biggest issues with the attack is that we have a focal point who likes to get too involved with link-up play. And when you have someone who wants to make a pass into the middle, nobody's in the middle because Sterling and Havertz are getting too involved with the play. This is where an Aubameyang comes in, because Aubameyang would literally just be focused on making runs and being in the right position, and that is it. And that is exactly what we need. I don't care if he doesn't get involved in build-up play. I don't need him for that. Right now, our biggest issue is we have too many cooks in the kitchen. And there's nobody taking the food out for the other people to enjoy or anything like that. We need someone like that, and that is where we get Aubameyang. Everyone's sitting there saying he's washed, he's 33, like he literally didn't take Barcelona from 9th to 2nd and outscore their top goal scorer within 6 months. Tuchel wants him. He said he's the number 1 option for him up front. He is the perfect striker for his system. Stop waffling with me about movement and defensive work rate and all of that bollocks. I want goals. I want assists. I'm not a GNA merchant until it comes to up front. When we're up front, then I am a GNA merchant, because what do you want your strikers to do? I don't care about them pressing. I don't care about their build-up play. That's nice and all. Where is the goals coming from? And that is where Aubameyang should be helping us in that regard. So, can't be too annoyed because we're still in this position because of the lack of transfers. Maybe when Fofana and Aubameyang come in, we're in a much better place, but good performance at least.